Hey guys, I just wanted to do a quick rundown of my van build out. I've been watching a lot of like the Handyman YouTube channels and stuff, like Bulletproof Handyman and the Finisher and all that type of stuff. I just wanted to kind of, there's been a lot of, I guess, conversation around the chuck in the truck, with a guy with a truck and a trailer or a van. And I just kind of wanted to give you my 2 cents and show you actually my build. First off, just a quick, thing about me is I just recently quit my job about 6 months ago. My wife and I, mainly my wife, owns a vacation rental company, and we're getting into long-term property management as well. And I do a lot of the maintenance and stuff like that for her. And what I just quit was the door industry, commercial door industry. So that's basically your schools, military doors, office buildings, that type of stuff, hollow metal, exterior doors. And I did a lot of that. So I'm doing a lot of that now on my own, along with the property management, along with the handyman, small renovations, this, that, and the other. But if you guys have seen last time, my last video, you guys probably have seen, I did a camper build out of a cargo trailer, and I've actually built 2 of those trailers. And I don't remember if I mentioned it in the last video. I actually did quite a bit. I've built out 3 job trailers, a lot like what I'm going to show you on the inside of this van. And then also the last company I worked for, I built out 5 vans, something like what you're going to see in here. And then also 4 utility trailers that they use for on-site job trailers. So I got a lot of basically hands-on experience with building these things out. So I just wanted to give you a quick rundown of my van. It's a 2015 Ford Transit 250. It's the high top, it's the shorter wheelbase. But what I did on here, because there is a lot of weight on the inside, I upgraded the suspension. And I did that myself, basically with, try and get in here real quick. So you see the yellow stop right there, that is a sumo spring. And then also you can see the shackles on here. So that's a sumo spring. This is a super spring, I believe it's called. And it's basically like a helper spring. So it actually helps out with the payload quite a bit. And then on the front end, they also make super springs, or sumo springs, I'm sorry. You can kind of see it. It's this rubber grommet type thing that fits within the spring and actually gives it a little bit more rigidity as well and helps with the payload. So because of the weight that I had, that jumps it up to almost like the 350 range. Okay, so let's just do a quick rundown real quick on what I have here as far as my trailer. Now, I'm just coming from a job site. I'm doing a shower install, and I just got that that stuff right there out of the center aisle because I wanted to give you guys a kind of a cleaner look. We'll open this up real quick. Kind of a cleaner look of the alley, or the walkway I got in here. All right, so open it all up, and then I'll run around to this side, open up the side door as well, and I'll just give you a quick glimpse real quick. All right, there's my bulkhead, handmade bulkhead, and I'll go through some of this stuff real quick. I'm not going to do a super deep depth dive of all my tools, but I just kind of wanted to give you guys a look of what I have. All right, let's do this real quick. This looks like crap in here because I am a worker, but so I built this little console right here out of wood as well. Kind of got some storage in there. And then also I got this little cooler, made a little spot for it. So on the hotter days, it's always nice to have that. But yeah, so I just wanted to show you that real quick before I do a in-depth run of what we have here. Okay, so you can see the back here. It is a lot like the Ron Polk designs. Like I've said, I built out total right now Ron Polk style trailers. I have built out 4, 5, 6 of them. Actually, I take that back, 7 actually. And in all honesty, a lot of this shelving and stuff like that came out of my last build, which was a trailer. And the reason I jumped to a van is for a lot of the reasons it's already been stated on some of these other videos. with a van, it's just much more easier to get in these condo associations and not trying to find a parking spot. My trailer, I have a huge jacked up F-150 with a 7x14 trailer, and I mean, it's just a pain in the ass trying to find a parking spot for it. So this just seems to work out way better. Okay, all right, quick rundown. Now, before we get started, I am a Makita whore. I love Makita. I mean, the majority, I will say 95% of my tools in here are Makita. Now, you will see some sporadic. I think I own 3 or 4 tools by Milwaukee. And obviously, I could get this in Makita, my table saw, but honestly, it really is. For the price for something like this DeWalt, if this thing were to ever take a shit, I can actually just go to a Lowe's or a Home Depot and get that. If I wanted Makita just to stay with the Makita brand, it was kind of stupid expensive. So yeah, that's why I got that. Anyway, let's do a quick rundown of what I got here. All right, so you can see, like I said, a lot of it is Ron Polk inspired. So I have a place for my table saw. In here, one of the Milwaukee items that I have. Everything, I should say, I want to say in this entire build, I want to say there is only 4 corded tools in here. Everything else is battery powered, 18 volt. So this was gifted to me. I forgot what that was, how I got that gifted to me, but I did not buy that, but it has come in handy. Just so you know, if you guys ever are in porta potties, take one of those in there with you. That stuff actually works really well. All right, and then I got a space for just extra stuff, extra towels and stuff. Spot for my sawhorses. If you guys don't know, the Bora Speed horses, again, these things are awesome. Take a look at them. All right, on this side, let's look real quick. Obviously, you always need a blower. I use that thing all the time, and I actually keep a couple of blowers on here. One, the larger one, and then one smaller one I'll show you here shortly that I usually just put on a work cart that I take to the job site. All right, so all my stuff is pretty much labeled as well. Obviously, large speed square, framing square. Right here, these are, what are those? Those are those little brackets, or not brackets, but like vices that goes on the front of cabinets to square up the faces. So I do a little bit of cabinet install. Obviously, when you're doing renovations, like whatever, kitchen or bathroom, a lot of the times you are putting cabinets, you need some of those. All right, these are my quick clamps for my track saw tracks. And speaking of track saw tracks, came up with this a while back, and I actually put these in the last company's trucks that I built. Everybody's got track saw, and I kind of built these out as well. So if you can see, there's a little notch on each one of these. These are 55-inch tracks. All you do is lift them up, pull it out, and it's just a nice little spot for the track. It never comes out, never have to worry about any of that. All right, this is pretty common. A lot of people see these. So I got a 6 foot, 4 foot, 2 foot, another 2 foot level, and then a collapsible T-square. It's always nice to have these real accessible. All right, I tried doing this video once before, and I forgot one of the most important things. Sawhorses, which are no longer in there, but my demo tools are in here. So like I said, I do some fencing as well. That's why I have this longer root axe in here. We'll do this real quick before I jump in that. And then I also got a rib nut gun. I mean, if there's a spot, I'm gonna put something in it. All right, so we pull this out, and what I do is, as you can see towards the end, oh, there's the orange paint. That basically reminds me, hey, don't pull that out any farther than that. Okay, so I got this little jig that I made for setting hollow metal frames. And in here, you can see I got, hopefully, a shovel. We'll go on this side maybe. A couple of shovels. I got a square end shovel, spade shovel. Actually, like a lot of this stuff, these extra blocks I use for either backing or banger blocks and stuff like that to kind of fudge stuff in. But I got, we got the post hole diggers. There's a couple of crowbars in here. Basically what you would use for demo tools, okay? All right. And that's always nice to have. Is that huge? All right. And then what we'll do is, let's actually go in, let's go on this side. Now in here, I actually built the bulkhead in here, and I made it out of wood. Just simply, I mean, bulkheads are really, really expensive. If you were to get that in metal, I forgot what they wanted to charge for one, like $1,500 or something like that. So I just made this one to suit me, and obviously with the wood, I can put anything on here and just, you know, build it out to my liking. So everything, you can see, everything is within waist height. So when I open up the door, these are quick grab and go stuff. So I use a lot of silicone spray, PB plaster, wood glue. I mean, like I said, I'm not going to go through a lot of this. Super glue, everybody needs super glue if you're a handyman. Just lubricants, all kinds of stuff. There we got some air tool stuff, extra pencils, alcohol, whatever. Okay. And then we'll walk up here, do a little bit of rundown here real quick. I'm trying to back it out as much as I can, but it's not really not allowing me to back the frame up too much. So here we go. I have my work belt, and then foxtail, GFCI. This is one of my newest acquisitions. And like I said, I am a Makita junkie, and I love Makita. But my buddy, we just put in 4 roof doors at a condo association, hollow metal frames and stuff like that. So we basically have to caulk the edges, whether or not they're going to use it for grout or just for basic, I mean, just basic necessities. You have to have the door caulked. He used his Makita. It worked great. Don't get me wrong. But he paid $280, $285 for his with tax. I got this one off of Amazon for $187 with tax. And after reading the reviews on both this model itself and the Makita, they did say the only thing they did not like about it, it did have, like if you were using a 2-part cartridge that has like those bladders in them, it was harder to press it. So it's got like this back off mechanism, the Makita does, and it didn't have enough oomph to press it through. This one has the oomph. Okay, so I watched a bunch of videos on this one, and it has rave reviews. Plus, it was $100 less. So what I did was I put the adapter on it. This takes Makita batteries instead of the Milwaukee batteries. All right, and then just basically another handheld one, which I may never use. Let's put this back up there. All right, obviously you got to have a first aid kit, rubber gloves. I use a shit ton of rubber gloves. Let's do this. So I put this little pegboard on here. It's got a bunch of different tapes on there. It's got the shield, my respirator, quick drain thing, whatever, the index, drill index reader. I do have a couple of cords on here. I don't use them often, but I got a 50-footer and a 100-footer. I have a laser level, which comes in very handy all the time. Then let's see here. So, Makita, if you're listening to this, this was one of the first Milwaukee purchases I ever bought. Again, everything I own for the most part is Makita. But I read a bunch of reviews on the battery-operated Makita vacuums, and this thing blows it out of the water. Now, technically, this is a backpack vacuum. I took the backpack mechanism off, but it does, if you can see, it's got like this metal bracket that comes off the back of it. And I love it because I do take out a cart. I have a work cart that actually fits right in this area, and I can pull it out. And one day I will do a video of that work cart because I have modded the hell out of that, and you guys would really like it. But what I do is I take my 4-foot ladder. It's got 2 brackets on that back end of that cart. This sits up just like this, and then the bracket of this, of the backpack vacuum, falls right in on that ledge right there. So I have this all the time, and I mean, it's so easy to maneuver around. I always have a vacuum with me when I do like these larger jobs in condo associations or stuff like that, and it just looks more professional. It just works very, very well. And lastly, my last Makita, or I'm sorry, Milwaukee tool that I own is, let's put that in there right now, is this floodlight right here, okay? And the reason I bought that floodlight is because Makita's was $450 and that one was $170. Honestly, I don't need floodlights very often, but I was doing a renovation job where I needed it. I had to turn out the power and it was early in the mornings and late at night. So that actually came in very handy. Again, $175 opposed to $425 or $450, no brainer. All right, so this is the stand to my DeWalt table saw. I will show you why I built that at one, or I had ordered that in a later date. Broom, always got to have a broom. And then you have a workbench, 4-foot ladder and a 6-foot ladder. And that is what I like about these 6-foot tall Sprinter vans, or I should say transit vans. So this is a 6-foot ladder and I still got, can't really see, but they're about 4 or 5 inches before it hits the top there. And yeah, it just works perfectly in and out. Okay, so let's start on the shorter side, shall we? Okay, step back out. Now, so when I come in, again, everything is waist height. This is all easily accessible, where I don't have to jump into the van a lot of the time. So whenever I go to a condo association or a property where it's just some small maintenance stuff, I can grab my everyday carry bag right here. It's got everything I need. And then I got a lighter drill and an impact, always just ready to go. So I can just throw all this in this bag and then go, okay? Over here also, everything, again, Makita. So what I did was, this cargo bay did not have lights in it at one time. So what I did was just got some Amazon lights and I outfitted each one of those metal rungs with a light, battery operated. I don't know how well it will work right now. We'll see in the daytime. Oh, I guess you can see it. And it lights them all the way up. And this thing, the sun is really blazing right now here in Florida, but this thing is bright as all get out in the mornings or at night. All right. Oh, before we get too far, this thing right here, guys. All right. This thing is a game changer. Lowe's is carrying these right now. Let's get it out of the sun. All right. Those razor blade dispensers are ass. Okay, it just takes so much pressure to press them out. This thing right here is a game changer. There's a spring in here that presses the blades up to the top. And then, I don't know why nobody ever did not figure this, but Klein, good on you. This little lever presses a blade out every single time. So, if you're looking to, re-up your knives, I got a couple of them. Even my knives are Makita. Yeah, here's my everyday carry knife, Makita. Again, like I said, I'm pretty addicted to it. This thing is a game changer right here. If you guys need blade dispensers, Klein at Lowe's, good on you. This thing is about $13.98 for 50 blades, which is much better than the Milwaukee blade price and all that stuff. I think theirs are around 17 or 18. But what I did was I bought a couple packs of these because you know how it is. You find something that you really, really like at a store and then they discontinue it after a while. And I just thought this was a great idea. So I never want to be without those. Okay, so as we come in, all right, I got a paper roll dispenser. Obviously, like I said, you got more blades there. A hose reel with a extension cord on. And honestly, I've never used this extension cord. The whole thing was I put this in here for my microwave right there. And I very rarely use that microwave. All right, couple of boxes for property management. All right, I'll jump into here. Hopefully y'all can see this. Like I said, it doesn't allow me back up, pull this out of the frame any more than that. But let's start back here. So this was where my table saw was, my battery bank. So I got a bunch of batteries. I got the clips right there. Got them off of Amazon. I got something right there. And I got a bunch right here as well. We'll see. And then I got some Metabo batteries there. And this is awesome. This is one thing I did. I built a battery charging station, and I actually built it, if I can get it out with one hand. There we go. As you can see, my battery station. What I do is I just go plug that in at a job site, if I'm at a commercial job site or whatever, and I don't ever have to worry about my batteries going dead. I got one for everything, for the Metabo, the little bit of Milwaukee that I have, and obviously the Makita. And then it just fits up in this little groove right here. And then jumps right in on that handle. And that's it. I tuck that away right there. And there you go. This is one little thing that I did too. I had some stickers made with my company name on it, and I just take the stickers off of the Makita stickers off the bottom of these, and then I had one made the exact same size as that. So anytime I'm at a job site, I know my batteries are mine, because the company I work for uses, or used to work for, uses Makita as well. Okay, so we'll go right down the row. I do have some pack outs, nothing major, nothing expensive as far as pack outs. We'll start up at the top first. So I got a wire fish. I got a welder. I did do a lot of welding for the last company I worked for on hollow metal frames. We had some project managers that would mess a bunch of shit up, that would have stuff ordered wrong, or the framers of the company that I was doing the job for, the subcontractors, they would put frames in the wrong places, which means the preps were not what they were supposed to be. Let's say you needed an EPT at the head of a stairwell. Well, they would put the wrong frame in the wrong spot, so I would have to go in, cut out an EPT prep, weld it in, mud it, Bondo and everything, and make it look factory. And then, yeah, so that's why I needed this. And honestly, that little titanium is like $120 mechanism or welder from Harbor Freight. That thing is actually money right there. All right, so I got a couple of cut-in buckets. I got a tape measure, welding gel nozzle, or nozzle gel, I should say. I got a snake. Then over here up top, like the Bulletproof Handyman, he's got what he calls packs. So I kind of got the same scenario. I got a bucket for my plumbing. I don't do a lot of plumbing. In Florida, you have to tread lightly on what you do as far as plumbing and electrical. Them take specialty license here in Florida. So if it's something that I don't think I should be taking on, or that I'm not comfortable with, I just bring in a plumber. And to be honest with you, I've been bringing in plumbers pretty much all the time now, just for peace of mind. I know that I could do a lot of the work, but not being licensed, and if something happens, I mean, I don't want to be that guy who has to basically answer for that. All right, and then we got caulks and adhesives. I love putting them in here because in the winter months, I can take the whole thing out, put it in the house, keep it warm. All right, contractor grade bags. Everybody needs those, obviously. What else do we got? Painting trays with removable liners, and I've snuck in blankets pretty much everywhere in here. I am utilizing pretty much every last inch, so I got painting blankets everywhere. Go down a little bit. So this right here is a welding bag. Again, I have specialty jigs and things that I had built for doing certain preps on doors and frames. A little bit of electrical stuff. Then here's some more packs. I got a hole saw pack. There's a bunch of hole saws and miscellaneous like extra drill bits and stuff in there. I have this, door screws and SRTs. And if you do not, I'm going to try and get you a good look at it. You can just see there's assorted everything in there. All right, it's really nice to have everything in one spot and not have to fish for a lot of that stuff. All right, and you know, just to make yourself more efficient. What do we got here? So this is extra blades, centering blocks, using them for like through bolts and stuff. Those things are great. Yeah, just extra stuff. I got, what are those called? Vicks bits. Yeah, just extra stuff. All right, that one doesn't come out very often. And then this right here, this is my everyday pack. I bring this out. All and I'll give you a quick rundown. And this is pretty much an essential pack. Anytime I bring out drills or impacts, I always bring this into the job site. Open it up. So I have, you know, this thing's awesome too from Klein. Different hex head, just all in one. It's got different sizes. This thing's awesome. That's money. And then I'm really anal with my stuff. So anything that's got a yellow on it has a number 3 bit. Anything that doesn't have yellow on it is a number 2 bit. Then I got smaller apexes and stuff like that. A lot of this stuff is door stuff. So if you're in the door industry, you'll recognize some of this stuff. Taking levers off doors, a specialty tool. Yeah, a lot of this is just door stuff. Center punch, all that type of stuff. Extra bits, 2s, 1s, and 3s. Reamers, step bits. We use a lot of 1/8 inch bits in the industry that I used to work in. So I always kept a shit ton of the 1/8 inch bits. And then just basically taps, the quick taps, what are they, self-drilling taps. All right, we'll put that away. But yeah, this thing comes out with me pretty much every time I go to a job. All right, so that's one of my packs. These two are just miscellaneous nuts, bolts, stuff that I don't really use a lot of. Right here is this is a socket set. I got another pack right here. What do we got in here? Oh, so this is like for doing, like I guess TV installs or whatever onto the wall. So there's toggles in here, miscellaneous parts from, you know, like when you get a kit to do a TV bracket or whatever, there's usually extra ones in there. So I always kind of keep a little bit extra of that in there. This one doesn't come out very often. Here's another pack. This is all screws and anchors for when I'm doing doors. Real quick here. I know this is getting long already. All right, so these are self-tappers for rigid weather stripping, ASA strikes, more rigid weather stripping. We use these gator bits for doing thresholds, 1/4 inch, hammer drill it in, throw that in, MP1 it down. Yeah, and that's how I put in. Yeah, a lot of you guys in the door industry, you'll recognize a lot of these parts and stuff like that. They come from the closers and all that stuff. Roton hinges, roton screws, which is basically a large piano hinge for doors after they've fallen off of their hinges and all that type of stuff. You can use a surface mount hinge and pretty much it'll last forever. All right, and then some more wood screws. This one right here, I will pull out and show you guys. This one is something you guys should do. I mean, obviously, so it says wood screws. You can just see, I can look at the top of this and it tells me everything that I have in here for screws, all right? And not only that, but once I open it up, let's say I'm building a cabinet or something, or a workbench or something. So I have, everything's labeled. Oh, this is my 2-inch. So if I'm using 3 different types of screws, I can tell, oh, there's my 1-inch screws that I'm using. I can just look at it on the bench and be like, okay, that's what I'm looking for right there. I don't have to, you know, grab it and like, oh yeah, that's about a 2-inch. But okay, that's one of those. So I do have some electrical parts in here. I don't do much electrical, but this is electrical and a little bit of plumbing as well. What I do a lot of is like if I'm doing a renovation, I don't know if you guys do this or not, but I usually cap off all the supply lines under cabinets and stuff like that. These are not cheap, but I tell you what, you never have to worry about a drip or anything like that. So yeah, I cap off a lot of stuff. I think this one was for a water heater that I had done in the past, but yeah, a lot of miscellaneous electrical parts stuff in there. Again, like I said, I don't do much electrical. All right, miscellaneous door parts. And this is just, again, this is for mostly commercial stuff, ASA strikes, cylinder housings, cylinder back plates and stuff right there, through bolts, roses, beauty rings, all kinds of stuff like that. All right, let me put this stuff back real quick so I'm not tripping all over it. Obviously, as you can see, this is an uncut video. I'm not that fancy. Okay. Yeah, we're getting already to the 30-minute mark. Okay, then we're gonna go down from, like I said, caulks, all that type of stuff. And then I do have some drawers that I built that have the restraint, wrong pull style, lift it up. Finish nails, brad nails, framing nails, all kinds of stuff right there. This right here is a heavy ass drawer. This is expansion anchors and all kinds of extra stuff that I use for doing commercial doors. Under here, welding blankets. This right here is impact sockets. This is a tap and die set. Craig jigs. I got various Craig jigs in here for doing. It's actually got the pocket hole, the jig. It has the drawer pull jig. It has all kinds of stuff in there. One day, like I said, we'll do a deeper dive. This right here is a jackhammer. So I basically use that for ripping out commercial doors that are grouted and stuff like that. So yeah, that thing is come in handy. That's actually just from Bauer, or it's a Bauer. It's a Harbor Freight, and man, that thing, I have got my money out of that. Okay, again, and we'll go down here, assorted fasteners, just like it says, tap cons, basically anything I need. These little packs from Harbor Freight are awesome. So toggles, there's rubber O-rings in there, just a little bit of everything in here. All right, wall anchors. I love these for doing pictures or anything like that. All right, and in here, third one down. All right, I do a lot of Bondo work, like I said, on frames. So what I use these for is mixing my Bondo, just throw them out as needed. Extra tapes, tape machine, a lot of different rolls of tape in there. I got all kinds of different tape in there. All right, so you guys, these right here, if you have not seen these yet, these are a game changer as well. That jack right there, not just for the door industry, but I kind of designed this one for the doors. So I put a neoprene rubber pad on there so it doesn't mar up doors. But so they sell these all over the place. They sell the Irwin one at Lowe's, but the Irwin one has the handle on the bottom. What's nice about this is you can use this for doors and actuate it with your foot. On the other one, you'd have to pull up. But I mean, and this one, like it doesn't have a ratchet style. So basically you can like really micro adjust it to hold the door in place for you while you're putting in the hinge or whatever. Or you could use two of them for doing cabinets. I've used two of them for doing kick plates and stuff like that, just to hold it up. I mean, kind of lazy, but it works great. Or STC doors, if you guys know what STC doors are. Stupid, heavy duty. I've done a lot of military stuff as far as skiff doors and stuff like that. Yeah, and some of them are about 500 to 1,000 pounds each. And those things are money. All right, throw that in there. If I can get it back in there. Yeah, there we go. Last drawer down, closer templates. Again, a lot of you guys might not know what this is, but this is just a good habit to get into. So I make a template for everything, even if I'm only going to do it once or twice. So for the people in the door industry, you guys are going to understand this, but I mean, this is just, so I make a 360 bolt. I mean, everything, this goes to the edge of the door, this goes to the bottom of the door. I just hit it with a center punch. I know where I need to drill my holes. Same with, let's look at a common one. 4040 XP closer, same thing. Just something that I do. And I make it stupid easy. Butt this up to the stop on the hinge side. Once you put this in, the piston of the closer is going to go that way. I just make it super, like for somebody who's never done a closer before, they can just take my template and go. And I mean, what's nice about this is you don't have to worry about pulling out the paper templates and all that type of stuff and using the double-sided tape that they come with and putting them on the doors. And everything's labeled. This is a 90 degree. They got them in 120 degree. They got them in 80 degrees, 180. I mean, yeah, so that's what I use those for. All right. And that just made me a lot more efficient, especially if you're doing commercial or production style and you're doing like 15 to 20 of them in a row. one guy can just mark them all out, and then one guy can come behind him and actually start drilling holes, and then one guy come behind him and actually install. All right, I know it's getting a little bit longer, guys, and I'm starting to sweat. All right, so let's go on this side. This is the tool side. Obviously, you already seen that blower. That is a huge blower. I love that one. We use that quite often. So let's start up top. I'm just gonna go, like I said, I can't put all of this in the shot, but up top, cordless Dremel set. I have bags everywhere in here, extra Makita bags. And what I do those for is if I'm doing a job where I can't access it with my cart, I just put a bunch of the tools in these bags and take them into the job site. Over here, magnet, those are always nice to have. Quick clamps, more quick clamps. It's nice to have those. Let's start going through the tools. Let's start from the top, and then we'll work in the middle and then in the bottom. All right, so at the top, first off, everything is labeled for the most part. And wherever, so let's say I have a recip saw in here. If it has a consumable, I put the consumable in with that mechanism usually, or with that tool. So right here, I got a smaller blower. I like using this smaller blower when I go to a job site just because this thing is huge and I'm already got about 15 to 20 tools on my work cart. So I just like to throw that one on to have it a little bit smaller. All right, so first off, Makita recip saw. But what I was saying about the consumables, you can look in here. I got extra blades. It's always right with that tool, so I don't have to go through an extra pack or anything like that to try and find the blades or the consumables for that product. It's usually right there. And then also what makes it easy for me is, let's say I'm going to Home Depot or Lowe's and I got to do a quick run list of what I need. I can look up in there, oh yeah, I'm running out of those. Oh yeah, I need a new blade. So you know what I mean? Just easy stuff like that. Circular saw. I got a smaller circular saw. I got my mixer. This is one of the only corded deals that I have right here. And then behind it, I got two. These are suction cups. So I use them for shower doors, or I use them for heavier STC doors. These are relatively inexpensive. I think I bought them for $30 a piece, and they are well worth the money. So if you guys are doing like shower doors or regular doors that don't have any type of trim or recessed panels in them, like a 6-panel door, those are the jam. All right, I got a 36 volt saw. Takes two blades. And what I actually set this one up is, I've set this one up for cutting off the bottom of hollow metal doors. Sometimes the flooring conditions is not great, so I actually have to cut the bottom of metal doors off. This thing goes through it like butter. All right, and then we'll go this way. Well, I got the Makita, I guess you would call it like a portaband. I never thought that I would like this, but I tell you what, I have used this thing so much lately, and I mean, I'll never go back to not using it. This thing is awesome for rigid weather stripping and thresholds, and I've used it around the house for all kinds of stuff, cutting steel stock. This thing is awesome. Some of this stuff is catch-all, so I got extra, you know, basically caution tape, a little bit of insulation, extra paints and stuff like that, and solvents and stuff. All right, so we'll go down. Another catch-all. Holds extra blades for the portaband. It's my radio. I keep one bag of just abrasives. So there is sanding paper and discs and all kinds of stuff in there. Gator grit discs. Yeah, so I just take that whole thing out when I'm actually doing any sanding. Extra, the glue bot. These are awesome. If you don't know, then you know. Basically extra glue, extra rubber gloves. Everybody needs rubber gloves. All right, we'll work down. Right there, impact gun, the Makita impact gun. This thing is awesome. I never wanted to spend the coin on something like this, but now that I got it, again, never go back. On my F-150, this breaks lugs that are at 150 pound torque like it's like nothing. This thing is awesome. I actually travel with this if I'm going, I live in Florida, so if I go to Wisconsin or South Florida, I'm in Pensacola. So if I go to South Florida, I always put this in my truck just in case I catch it flat. luckily enough, I never had to use it. There is extra space in there for more blue tape. I do have a lot of blue tape that I use, but it's scattered all over. All right, track saw, Makita track saw. This thing is awesome, but like I said, extra blades, extra chip out for the tracks right down there. So again, if it has a consumable, I try to keep it with that machine. All right, drywall. So we have cutoff or cutout wheel, and then I have this collated gun drywall, obviously Makita. I just used this today on my shower install. Use that for some Dura-Rock. All right. Over here is my hammer drill. I love this little hammer drill. It gets its use, but as you can see, hammer drill, all my hammer drill bits, blades, chisels are all right there. So I know at the end of the day or beginning of the day, it's like, okay, do I have my 1/4 inch for my thresholds? Oh yeah, there it is. And all the blue tape on there, obviously you guys can see that those are basically makeshift depth gauges. All right, jigsaw, same thing. Makita jigsaw, extra jigsaw blades in there. I just keep it it's pretty much stocked full. This doesn't have a label, but this thing right here was something I never thought I'd need or buy. This little pump is so awesome. It works so well. Actually, I bought these about a year ago. I bought 3 of these at Home Depot. They were in the clearance aisle. I think these go for like around $130 to $150 on Amazon. They were selling them at like $60 a piece at Home Depot. So I bought all 3 of them and I gifted a couple away. All right, and then all my framing nailers. So I do use the Metabo. This was before I even seen anything with the Makita, so I already had these for about 3 or 4 years, but it's self-explanatory. Metabo is my 18 gauge, and over here are the Metabo batteries. So I got the 18 gauge, I got the 15 gauge, and then I'm not gonna pull this one out because I gotta pull the batteries out to pull it out, but this is actually the framer. So that's, I also have corded ones, or I should say compressor powered ones. Like if I'm doing a larger fence, I will bring that out instead of using just that. But what I like to use this one for is like the stringers alone on fences and stuff like that. All right, so let's go down. I try to put the most easily accessible stuff, or the stuff that I use quite often, towards the back of the van. As you can see, impacts. Everybody needs impacts. So right there is one of the Makita impacts. I got about 4 of these. I tried to get the Japan model. I think this is a knockoff. This one is just kind of a gimmicky thing, the purple one. I wanted to have it because everybody in my industry was using the Makitas, and I just wanted to have something different, but that one doesn't get much use. Drills. So I got a smaller one. I got a heavier duty drill in the back here, if I can pull it out. So yeah, and then you've seen the one over here, which is the black one, which is a little bit lighter weight. All right, go back in there. Router. Yes, I love using this router, round off bits, all that type of stuff. Same thing. So I got this rigid one. This one's corded. I don't use it often, but all my bits are in there. So if I ever need a router bit, right there's my router, and I know where the bits are. All right, and then angle grinders. So I'm a little overzealous with my angle grinders. I have 3 angle grinders, and the reason I do that is because when you go to Home Depot on a Black Friday sale, they always give away a free tool, and it always seems to be a grinder. So like I'll go buy a couple of batteries for that season, and if you buy 2 batteries, you get a free tool. So I always buy an extra grinder. So I got one set up for flap disc. I got one set up for cutoff wheel, and then I got one set up for like the diamond grit or the fiber discs. And then right here, I will put, grinding cups, cutoff wheels, or diamond disc or grit, or what are they called? Diamond discs for tile. Again, so everything is right next to the unit that I'm going to use. Obviously, doing doors, you got to have a planer. So I got the Makita planer. Have not used it yet, but when I need it, I got it. Okay, we'll go back over here and put this stuff away and just keep going. Sander, obviously Makita sander. This right here, you guys, if you guys do not know what this is or haven't seen this, this thing is a game changer. I'm gonna try and open it up. Hold on here 1 second. I'm using a couple of hands here. So there we go. That thing is awesome. That's a band file. My industry calls it a finger sander. If you're trying to adjust doors, this thing is money for grinding out strikes to make the door fit better. It's a lot better than using those carbide acorns, I call them, which just look like a beaver chewed it. This thing is, you can make that thing look factory with something like this. When you're grinding it out straight, this thing is money. And I used it on so many different things. So I don't know why in the hell more and more people don't use them. But yeah, I definitely suggest that if you guys. All right, I must have hit pause, but back to it. So multi-tool, everybody needs a multi-tool. Obviously multi-tool, and then a ratchet. This was another free tool on Black Friday. I thought I'd use this a lot more than I do. I don't, but you know what? If I need it, I got it. All right, trying to get through this fast. I know we're already at like almost an hour on this thing, but all right. So basically a belt sander, just a cheapo. I don't use it very often. Makita battery operated heat gun. It's not great, but you know what? It does work for a lot of the stuff that I need. Just takes a little bit longer. Obviously, we already seen this and the planer. This is self-explanatory. You know, got to have a microwave. Okay, so then we're going to come down here a little bit. Right here, I just have a tote with painting and drywall tools. I'm not going to bore you with all that. Obviously extending poles. I got some other ones throughout the van as well. And in here, basically all my drawers. Now these are not, they're not organized by any means. They are basically catch-alls, and yeah, I'm sorry for that, but I can give you a quick show of what I have in here. Top drawer, there's still a lot of consumables. I mean, you know, I like to keep all these with the grinders, but obviously I keep a way more of these, and there's just not enough room in that little cubby for all that. But you know what I mean. Epoxies, folding doors, you know, folding closet doors. Them are everybody's nemesis if they don't know how to figure those out, like consumers and homeowners. I always get calls on those. Yep, more razor blades and all kinds of stuff. I definitely need to go through this and figure that all out. This drawer is pretty much all commercial door stuff. So we use magnetic tape for shimming doors, like on hollow metal doors. Lots of ASA strikes, bunch of interchangeable cores and stuff like that. Green is a construction core, usually on larger job sites. I actually built this. This is a post hole jig for cylindrical locks. And then just miscellaneous base anchors for hollow metal frames and stuff like that. All right, extra cylinders and stuff for doors. Yeah, there's a lot of miscellaneous stuff in there, but it is pretty much all door stuff. And down here, lots of shims. I got composite shims, wood shims. Like I said, I do some privacy fences, so you know what those are. The string line for privacy fences, and then Forstner bits, and then under here I got a bunch of miscellaneous stuff. Those were cut off from a previous job that were push-pull handle plates and stuff, and I just didn't want to throw them out. I use these for certain things throughout the year. Extra blades, and you know, more blades and more blades, cement board blades for hardy board and all that stuff. All right, and then working down here again, these are all miscellaneous tools, so this is kind of a catch-all. I always have. So obviously you need wrenches and stuff. I don't use wrenches very often, to be honest with you. And then grommet kit, preps for cylindrical locks and door preps and mortising and all kinds of stuff. So I got that. And then this is extra stuff. Extensions for like lights that'll be in, let's say you have a stairway and the light is like stupid high up and you need to change out a light bulb, like almost like a floodlight. This just goes right over the top of it. You put this on an extension pole and go right back up. Otherwise, you can use, I don't know where it's at, right here. This is just a cheapo. Suction cup one will work as well, and that string releases the pressure from it. I've had to do that many, many times. And then down here, this was a lot, mainly I had this for, you know, all my batteries. So I do keep a lot of batteries in here. And the reason I keep a lot of batteries is, again, doing property management and my wife owning a vacation rental company, electronic keypads. Cleaners don't usually let you know that they're going to be dead or that they are going dead. So what I do is I just got them on a rotation. Every 6 months, I got a note in my phone where I keep it that gives me alerts saying, okay, property so-and-so needs the batteries updated. So that's just what I do. All right, extra switch plates and stuff from an old job I didn't want to throw out, so I hold on to that. Sharpies, everybody needs Sharpies. All right, yeah, more switch plates. And then down lower is just excess tools. These are like heavier tools, mauls and cold chisels and stuff like that. Just stuff that I don't need in my everyday carry. And then one last pack. Actually, I shouldn't say my one last pack. I do have other packs, but what I do with this one is roto zip blades. Actually, more jigsaw blades. I got more jigsaw blades than I think I'm going to need for a few years. Roto zip blades. Obviously, a bunch of different multi-tool blades, and I just get, you know, packs off of Amazon and stuff like that. Honestly, I don't think there's much difference between the packs from Amazon if you get a good reputable seller. I mean, I bought the $20 one pack from like Lowe's, and it doesn't last any longer, to be honest with you. All right, and then one last pack. This is for door mess ups, I like to say. So this is like a door wax kit, and then like a staining kit. Let's say you got a chip in the door, you can use some of the fill or whatever. I got different color fill sticks and all that type of stuff, and then go back over it and kind of give it a wood grain and make it look like it's never been messed up before. You'll be surprised when you have a lot of newer guys in the industry. There comes a lot of mess ups, so you got to be pretty handy with fixing holes in doors when they aren't supposed to be in certain spots. All right, and there's a little bit of extra wire. This is low voltage wire for electronic devices on doors and stuff. Yeah, so with that being said, guys, I know it's been a longer video, but that is my build. If there's anything you guys wanted me to go more depth into, like I said, this is a long video, but if there's anything else you wanted me to get more depth into, just comment on the, you know, down below, and I'll see if I can't get to it. All right? Thanks, guys.